We now come to our technology showcase, and this week it's FYLD, spelt F-Y-L-D. Now, to my delight, I discovered that Karl Simons, a former colleague of mine from when we both worked at Thames Water, was now the chief futurist at FYLD. So I persuaded him to give us the lowdown.
Karl, it's wonderful to see you again. I look back on our time together at Thames Water fondly, but now you're working for FYLD. Spelled F-Y-L-D. Tell me, why did you join FYLD and what do they do?
Right, okay, hiya Piers. Yes, I do look back fondly on our time together. So FYLD, that's easy, right? The answer to that is the ability to prevent harm on a wider scale. I've always had a very deep social purpose throughout my entire 36-year working career now, which has always been about the ability to prevent harm, and I've dedicated my career to the preservation of life. So what I saw in this organization was the ability to work much wider than I could in a single organization. I've always worked in major corporates and led some fantastic organizations across Australia, India, the Middle East, into Europe and the UK, and now in the US. But this was very, very different in terms of, one, it's a tech world and a startup organization. And secondly, it's into the sectors that I enjoy working in: utilities, highways, rail, oil and gas, the very much the network end of really remote field operations.
Excellent. Well, and I know that there is a 3-minute, rather swanky video that describes what FYLD does, which we'll play right now.
From emergency repairs to day-to-day maintenance, FYLD teams work around the clock to repair the networks and infrastructure essential to our lives. Yet communication across FYLD teams is often logged in multiple places, including emails, calls, texts, and paperwork. This makes FYLD jobs difficult to manage, information hard to share, and communicating with contractors an admin headache. Until now. FYLD is an easy-to-use digital tool that transforms the way field workers communicate and operate. Designed by field workers, for field workers, FYLD brings real-time communication to your entire workforce, including your supply chain partners. Here's how it works. Watch this team use FYLD's AI technology and communication features to help them respond to a burst water main. A severe weather front is forecast. FYLD identifies all active jobs which may be impacted and pushes alerts through the app to affected FYLD teams. The alert notifies the team that their job may be impacted by severe weather and provides a time estimate of when the weather will hit. FYLD asks the team to pause, reassess their risk, and determine if the job can be completed safely. The team decide the job is not safe to complete in the new weather conditions and log in the app that they will close the site until the following day. 30 minutes before the weather hits, FYLD prompts the team to down tools, secure the site, and complete a job wrap-up as a handover for the next crew. They estimate how long it will take for the incoming team to finish the job and note any specialist skills or equipment that may be required. Meanwhile, a remote manager is following the job's progress in real time through the app. She reviews the job wrap-up to match the most suitable handover team to the job. The following day, before arriving on site, the handover team will review the job's history in FYLD, prepare and pick up any extra supplies they may need. Once on site, the handover process is completed by a quick virtual risk assessment. The handover team confirms in the app that the site is in the state they had expected. FYLD consolidates communications across your entire field workforce, keeping all parties connected and informed.
Well, that was fantastic, and there wasn't, crystal clear what it now does. But Karl, I know you've been doing something with a water company. I don't think we can mention them, but a water company here in Europe. Can you give me some headlines as to what we've seen?
So this is really exciting. FYLD is a risk and productivity solution. So although we look at the safety end of human protection, we also are a problem-solving organization. And if you start with a problem, you know what I mean, for water companies across the UK and worldwide, to be honest with you, leakage. Leakage is a major infrastructure issue and a national problem for us in the UK. Huge regulatory fines against water companies for explosion of leakage issues. But the reality was that as much as you have things like aging infrastructure, population expansion, the changing weather patterns, we've got freeze and then thaw, and then the summer temperatures are now soaring. You've got the price hasn't increased in the last 10 years for the water bills in the UK. So where electricity and gas are going astronomical, the regulators kept tight control around the water companies. Those are things pretty much that are challenges, but out with generally the organization's control. They have mains replacement programs, but one of the biggest challenges we face is time. The time between
the one thing you can't buy is time. Yeah.
Yes, but it's all about, and I faced it when the last 10 years leading Thames at a group health and safety director level, it was always about, how quickly can we respond when things don't go as we plan. So when you have those mains burst, the time between leak detection and leak cessation is a major issue. Now then, what FYLD enables through the risk visualization is the ability to redesign the process of operations and liaison between customer, client, contractor to lead to the ability to reduce time and therefore reduce leakage.
Okay.
Now then, what we've done recently, if I can just finish on this.
So that all sounds great, but what's the actual data? What have you found from your trial?
Right. Okay. So all companies will measure that time between leak cessation and leak detection and how they go about managing it. So what we've done within FYLD is we've reduced, or let's say we've reduced the time by 35%, which is a massive saving. It's going to lead to 500 million litres of water saved in the coming year, 2023, by one single water company. Now then, when you start thinking about those metrics, 500 million litres of water in the grand scheme of leakage across the UK, but to a single water company, that is a huge amount of water that we're going to save from going into the environment.
Yeah, and at the risk of stating the blindingly obvious, of course, it's not just the water. It now means that you've got the teams who can do 35% more work, I assume, because they're doing it 35% quicker. So there's a bottom line efficiency, economic benefit as well as an environmental one, correct?
And the safety benefit as well. Yeah. You think the minute we have leaks within the UK, it affects the local environment, transport infrastructure, the individuals, the members of the public involved. There's so many benefits towards what we're doing at the minute. And it's really exciting, Piers. And I'm working with several water companies in the UK now towards how we map out this solution and go wider with it. And I'm very excited, as you can see, by the opportunity to go wider.
What I think I liked most about that segment was the fact that FYLD was, and I quote, designed by field workers for field workers. The benefits are not just keeping staff safe in the field, but it optimises productivity, saves costs, and as you heard there, when applied to leakage, saves water too. FYLD have got great case studies and are now looking to expand to other parts of the world. So if you want to know more, I will happily introduce you to Karl. And go on, admit it. You also want the title Chief Futurist.